want every side to come together to attempt to take down the 100 side.
Man, they gotta understand.
We want all the smoke.
We go off the content.
Three, two, one. Hey there, welcome back to the channel where we keep it real. No capping. I'm your host, bringing you nothing but straight fire and authenticity. Today, we're diving into 12 rooms that I got to promote. The 100 ENT showroom, hosted by Big Wack100. The Beehive room. Love and R&B room, hosted by the queen of the 100 side, R&B. No room for the weak. No mercy room. Spin the block room. 100 ENT jailbreak squad room. 100 ENT solve room. Petty Betty and Toxic Tanya room. Dangerous Minds room, hosted by Beast. Good Burger, hosted by Pitbull. Sleepless in LA, and many more. If you want to get closer or you want to be a part of the show, go to Clubhouse, follow one of these rooms, or you look for a room titled with Wack100. These particular videos all made possible by the one and only Wack100. Get ready to vibe with me as we explore the hardest topics that need some real recognition in the streets. Let's jump right into it and show some love to this channel by hitting the like and or subscribe button. So, without further ado, hold it down. One mic on Wack.
Born, which is, it's so hypocritical because she was not born in the best neighborhood and was a drug trafficker, and she was just judging him for being black and being born in a bad neighborhood. And then I think after college, when she realized, okay, he's not going anywhere, she actually offered him a position in Rock Nation, and she actually offered me a position and wanted us to move there and work there, and we said no. My husband's a very independent, free thinker and free speaker. He does not conform to what society norms are. He's uplifted me, educated me, just like I have for him. And so her seeing, oh man, like he can influence her possibly more than me, or, you know, he's showing her a different side of the world that maybe I don't want her to know. Like, and so I think she felt threatened by him. She wanted me to be with a millionaire and date this person and go here. And so it's really just about power, control, classism, and just like your typical like narcissistic parent, like, I want this from you and this is what I envision, and if you go left, oh man, you must be getting abused, you must be getting coerced, because why on earth
wouldn't you be doing what I say?
Yes.
Now, there were a lot of different incidents that happened that led to Deore actually suing her mother, Desiree. Now, it started back in September 2023 when Desiree allegedly called the police and falsely accused Javon of putting his hands on Deore.
September 11th, 2023, Javon and I are in the back room. We're having an argument about a business call. So there's a bed, a whole entire queen bed in between both of us, and we're arguing and whatnot. Out of nowhere, Olga and Milaides storm into the room screaming. And then she tells me in Spanish, your mother called me saying that he's beating you up. And I go, no, nothing is happening. A few minutes pass by, and Miami-Dade Police Department storm into the room, and they tell us, we received a call that you're getting beat up nonstop. We need to separate you guys and talk.
Whoa!
I'm like, ma'am, I just woke up. We were arguing. Nobody hit anybody. So she has me. I had a short sleeve on. You'll see it in the body cam. Yeah. She has me extend my arms. She checks me for bruises. She has me turn around. She checks my neck. She said, you don't have anything. I go, I'm trying to tell you, I didn't get hit. I had not one tear in the body cam, not one mark. I was more embarrassed that she was interviewing me without a bra and with a bonnet on than anything.
That's swatting.
Mm-hmm.
When you call the police with a fake emergency, making it sound like someone's life is in danger with hearing stuff like that.
Again, she checked me. She saw no bruises. The other officer interviewed Javon. You'll see that in the body cam. He was explaining everything. They were like, okay, there's nothing here.
What's even crazier about this situation is the police ended up telling Deore and Javon that Desiree was...
It's easy to spot a Planet Fitness member. They all look strong.
that Desiree was watching them from a secret camera that she allegedly put in their room without them knowing.
Because the police officer, she didn't say this on the body cam, but she told me, she said, we got the call, she's watching you from New York, there's a camera in here. If I were you guys, I would move out of here because clearly the people who live in here have a problem with you guys. And that's what started Javon and I's manhunt for an apartment or a townhouse to move out. That officer telling me that. Because I was like, a camera? Where? That camera was in our bathroom facing our shower in a closet.
That is scary. That is really scary. And when Deore and Javon moved out, child, Deore claims that Desiree hired private investigators to move across the street from them and watch them.
To answer your question about the surveillance, she rented the house across the street from us, hired unlicensed and licensed private investigators to surveil us, and they were living there for months, watching us, following us. We have proof of this. It's not making this up, people. The former BSO police officer, James Fondo, who's on the Baker Act video that you guys see, he admits on body cam that he placed a GPS tracker in my car.
Well, I'm saying she's heading over here right now. Her or? Yes, they have a GPS on her. So she should be run by any minute.
Probably 90% of the people who were following me were men, grown men, with guns. Some that didn't have the correct licenses to be following with guns. They were following my husband. They were even showing up at my husband's nephew's school and surveilling the children. We have proof of that.
That is insane, but it gets crazier than that. Once Deore and Javon caught on to what was happening, Desiree allegedly tried several attempts to have Deore mentally evaluated so that there could be an excuse to Baker Act her. So basically, she wanted to Britney Spears her, allegedly. One time, Deore got a call that her uncle was dying, and when she drove over to see him, she realized it was a trap, and Desiree allegedly tried to hold her against her will.
So I tried to leave. She has like an automatic gate. She locks it. So I tried to climb over. I had my dog with me, trying to hop over the gate, not drop my dog. And she's punching me, hitting me. And at that point, she's like, if you try to leave and go back with that NIGGER, I will have you committed. She whispered that in my ear. 3 police officers show up. She didn't even want to open the gate. And the police were like, you better open up this gate right now. She finally opened the gate. Police separated everyone. And then police were like, she's saying that you want to kill yourself. I'm like, what? I'm like, she called me and told me to come here because my uncle was dying. I was going 90 in the freeway. Like, at no point did I say I wanted to die. I said I was leaving and she threatened to commit me.
Oh, y'all, but it didn't stop there. Deore claims that one time when she was working at this company called Iconic, she was instructed to get on a Zoom call meeting with the director from Nike Academy. She later on realized this director was an undercover doctor trying to do a psych evaluation on her so that she could gather information to find a reason to Baker Act her.
I was told that it was a mandatory meeting. Show up to the Zoom. I'm the only person there. The lady identifies herself as Rachel Thomas. Later to come to find out, it was Dr. Rachel Bernstein, a sex code therapist. I got consent to record her, so I have this all on recording. I took a picture of the Zoom. And when I realized it didn't sound like it was like a corporate type of meeting, and it was like a psych eval, I asked for the website. I asked if I could record her, all that stuff. Later to find out it was a fake website. She didn't work for Nike and she really was a sex code therapist. And so I think when they saw that I was becoming suspicious, they told me I no longer had to attend those meetings after attending 3. And I think obviously the intention with that was to possibly Baker Act me.
Deore claims that Desiree's alleged actions against her and her husband did not stop there, and she detailed the incidents that led up to her husband ultimately being falsely arrested December 30th, 2023.
I want the public to know I did family therapy sessions to try to save my relationship with my mother. It didn't work because she continued to try to say, I know he's abusing you, admit it, I know he hit you on September 11th, and I'm like, he did not, that did not happen, and you need to stop. Like, I'm not going to admit to something that didn't happen. December 29th, I come home from Publix, the supermarket, and a detective shows up at our house, Detective Williams, from the domestic violence unit.
Jeez
and she
Louise.
pulls up. Yeah, she pulls up and she goes, "We got a call that you're being held against your will and tortured." And I'm like, what? I send them away. And then the very next day, Javon and I had plans to take his nephews, or my nephews now, right? And my mother-in-law to a farm called Pinto's Farm to celebrate the holiday. We're not even there 15 minutes when like 8 police officers show up and they grab me. I had to put the kids down. The kids are crying. At this point, I called her when I'm at the farm. This is the last time I spoke to her. I said, "Did you get him arrested?" "Yes, I did, because he's an abuser, this and this." I go, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "You better call all your friends at the police department and you better get him released, or I'm going to speak and tell everybody who you really are."
So Deore was furious because Desiree allegedly tried to falsely get Javon arrested for DV. And she allegedly was using this incident that happened back in January 2022 to get him caught up. But Deore actually
My daughter receives $1,800.
actually said the video was completely edited, and what really happened was she was sick with COVID and Javon tried to leave the house and she accused him of cheating out of her own insecurities, because Deore was very honest. She admitted that she had some insecurities and she and Javon were young, so they had their little spats here and there, and she took up a Swiffer and Javon tried to block it, but the video had that part blurred to make it seem like he was raising a hand at her.
He thinks, because in the house we do have BB guns, he thinks I got a BB gun and I was gonna shoot him with a BB gun. So the Swifter's here. He's going like this to block it from smacking him in the eye, because I've already hit him like a couple of times now. What's funny is she doesn't produce audio, guys. She has audio, but she doesn't produce it. In the audio, he's like, "Don't shoot me, don't shoot me." And he tells me. So we got space, we reconvened, and we're like, okay, we're never gonna act that way. I'm not gonna act that way. Like, we need to trust each other. We moved on, and that was it.
So Deore and Javon had a petty argument, and Deore said that she had a very high fever from COVID, so she was a little extra, but she revealed this, even though it made her look kind of bad, she revealed this anyway to kind of show that Javon wasn't pounding on her like that. I mean, Desiree was actually still cool with him after the incident.
My husband and I have been together since we were 14 years old. She's known him from 14 to 30. We're 30 years. He's been very active in family events, very active in everything. No mother, if she really believed that their daughter was being abused, would have him around that much, number one. We have text message and evidence and proof. She invited Javon to Turks and Caicos with my family for my brother's graduation, May 2022. We were on vacation for a week with her. Javon was buying her Valentine's Day gift. She was texting him, "Thank you, sweetie, I love you," this and that. Like, he was engaged. We went to Aspen. We went to the Super Bowl with her, all after this incident in January.
I think things started to change when Deore and Javon started to grow distant from Desiree after realizing that they were being watched. And I think Desiree was upset about that, so she allegedly tried to do what she could to separate Deore from her husband, Javon. And that included getting him locked up for DV, which he was not found guilty of.
He got arrested because we have public records and emails that the state attorney was pressured and they received fabricated evidence. Obviously, they didn't think that a mother would submit fabricated evidence, right? Because it's like, nobody thinks that, right? And the reason why they arrested him so quickly and abruptly was because my mother, with Jeffrey Brown, who's a private investigator, and a whole bunch of unlicensed PIs like Raymond Gonzalez, and another one that I don't want to name him because he's a huge figure and he was there at the farm. They were there and they conspired with Desiree Perez to say that I was being abducted. And so that's why in the body cam you see 10 officers showing up at a kid's farm thinking that I'm being abducted. And it was just another tactic and a manipulation of the Rock Nation CEO to get the police to show up when she wanted them to show up and to force an arrest.
Deore claims that a private investigator named Jeffrey Brown was hired to surveillance her, and he was the one who assisted in getting her husband arrested.
Javon gets arrested. He makes bail the next day. And I want the record to reflect, through my amazing investigative team, specifically my lead investigator, we uncovered with body cams, with evidence that I'm going to give to you to produce to your audience, The private investigators, where she rented the house directly across the street from us to watch us 24/7, who followed us to the farm. We already knew we were being followed, but I didn't know until after that arrest that they were living across the street. And some of those men were unlicensed, which in Florida, by Florida statute, you cannot surveil and follow someone if you're not a private investigator and you don't have your license. That's considered aggravated stalking. Licensed and unlicensed private investigators and just regular men living there across the street for over 6 months, surveilling us. And then when we would leave in the morning, they would alternate in cars and, alternate men, and they would follow us. So a couple will follow me, a couple will follow Javon, and they would follow us out there today. They would follow our friends. She even sent a private investigator to my best friend's job in Boston to try to convince my best friend to say she was a victim of human trafficking. She sent investigators to my husband's nephew's schools.
This story is crazy. It's honestly traumatizing, even listening to it, but it gets even deeper, y'all. After Deore
Entertainment hosted by Stevie Nunez, Sally Colon, Naughty Nerd, and Dreas, with the executive producers Wack100 and R&B. Don't get too messy, y'all.
Hey, for everybody.
Welcome to Entertainment 100 Mondays.
Welcome to Hollywood, baby.
With your hosts, Stevie Nunez, Naughty Nerd, and Sally Colon. Executive produced by Wack100 and R&B.
And everybody else. So
It's real. Yeah.
this shit is, I had to stop it. It was so much going on to this point. And I wanted to talk about Miss Desiree Perez, because it seemed like she's using her power and influence to trap her daughter and her significant other. Desiree Perez has been in multiple scandals with other individuals as well. It seems like she's the handler of Roc Nation, the Olivia Pope of it all. And I don't know, y'all. It's very strange. I believe her daughter. Because other people have their certain set experience with Desiree Perez, and we already know how she set up with Tory Lanez. So this is the thing with Desiree. She's a handler of Roc Nation. So I wanted to get y'all perspective, and this is from her own flesh and blood. And a lot of people didn't know that Desiree was working with the cartel. They didn't know that she was smuggling drugs, and they didn't know that she actually was a mule, right? She's a snitch. She's an informant. So how y'all feel about it?
Honestly, I had no clue about the story. This first time I'm hearing about it. As far as Desiree's name, I'm very familiar with that name being tied to a lot of scandals. Olivia Pope clocked that, But yeah, I'm a little confused. So Javon is Desiree's former husband?
No, Javon is her daughter's husband.
Correct. Okay, I thought, why is she so focused on getting him locked up?
Because think about it, she want her, so like her daughter stated, she wanted to arrange her to be married to millionaires and other individuals within, around her associates, right? She wanted to give her daughter away.
She didn't like the nigga.
And she didn't like him because of his
nigga,
because he was
he's a black nigga that don't got money.
And she talked about it wasn't just his race but classes, like him living poor or him being middle class, etc. And so she even said that she tried to offer her and him a job, but her husband is a free thinker. He didn't want that job. He wanted to follow his own path. And so Desiree said the same thing. And however, her mother wanted to control their relationship. She wanted her daughter to be with other people and not that man. So that's why she hired private investigators. She lied. She tried to get them locked up. She tried everything in her power and influence to separate her daughter from that man. She's a controlling parent at this point. I don't put it past her, girl. Look at her past. Hello?
Yeah, that's really sad. It's unfortunate and it's sad that you strained your relationship with your daughter because your daughter chooses to love a man that she's been loving on since she called herself loving something at 14 years old. Him not trusting you in regards to a job, I'm sure it's because he could feel that you really don't like him. You know what I'm saying? And then when you find out, I was listening closely You learn that there's a camera positioned in a bathroom facing the shower, so you can see their intimate moments. There's a camera in the living room. You're doing still shots, right at the perfect angle to make it look like he's raising his hand towards her, but there's no audio involved. Yeah, I don't like this. I feel bad for the girl. I feel bad for her daughter that she has a mother like that's gonna act like that and move like that. And I feel really bad for the guy, because all you doing is having a girlfriend and trying to stay neutral, and he's trying to buy little gifts and stuff to show the mother, like, look, I'm here. I fuck with y'all. I like y'all. Oh my God. But then this is what you do to him. You try to get him locked up for domestic violence simply because he's not making millions, and you want your daughter to be with someone that's of a status. And I do believe it's classism. I don't think it's racism. I think it's classism.
She said it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, I believe that based on the word. What did she say? You with that Nigger?
Yeah,
which is crazy because you work with a ton of them, a bunch of them.
Listen. You can break bread with niggers, but that don't mean that people don't think that they still are one, right? And we oftentimes heard black, people in corporate America working with whites and still experience racism. They can have their master's, bachelor's degree, be professional and everything, and they still, can work with them and still view them and still be racist. So these things can exist at the same time. Yeah, so that's crazy, y'all. Anybody else want to speak on Miss Desiree Perez?
I just want to tell black people this. Don't be letting these other folks on these other races make you feel some type of way. And I know y'all don't let them, but I just want to reiterate something. If you look at a lot of places where these people come from, they sleeping on the ground. They living in squandering conditions, okay? And then they come out here with their fucking nose held up high. They come from governments that don't let them do shit. They come up here with their nose held up high and trying to make you feel inferior when they're the inferior ones. Don't do that no more. I like the way he stepped. Bitch, I don't need you.
Or
bitch, I don't need
you. People fear your potential, right? Because they don't want you to level up surpass them. People will keep you stagnant because they fear that you could possibly take their positions. You are the correct one for the job, right? So it's a lot of things why people hate. And again, I can see this. If you are one of the CEOs of Rock Nation and you're around all of these billionaires and wealthy men with money and you want to keep it within the family, why not have your only daughter, date them or talk to them or be in a relationship with them or set them up? It gives me kind of like royalty vibes. Like, I want my you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it seems like she's operating, right? And it's sad because we're seeing in real time. And on top of that, they always had a strained relationship. Her daughter always talked about how she was raised by her grandparents. She wasn't really raised by her mom. They had a relationship, but it wasn't to the point how her grandmother was her mom. So she really didn't have that foundation with her mother, because you got to think her mom was working with the cartel. Her mom was in and out. Her mom was in jail, excuse me. Her mom was an informant. Her mom was doing the most, right? So it's crazy how you'll look down upon him. But she said, but she also came from that lifestyle. She came from that too. So understanding that the position that she's in now, but she came from nothing. And that's what her daughter also said. So it's crazy how you can be something now and still look down upon people when you once were in their shoes. So yeah, that sucks to hear for sure. But Ruski, Rue,
here I am. What's going on?
All right, listen, Rue, we got something to discuss.
Yeah,
right.
We do. We really do.
We really do. Listen. All right, y'all. Listen, let's get.
Just last week, I was so happy. because there was reports out there that Halle had moved on. She was seen on a yacht, getting her with her man, her new man.
Moving on.
Yes, I'm talking about long, luscious locks. Sitting there looking like a stud with his new babe.
Moving on. Me? I think she got a thing with niggas with locks, but I digress.
You think so?
Because DDG had locks.
And that was girl, I love that you brought that up. That right there is the tea. That's the petty.
Yeah, think about it.
That's the petty.
If you think about it, he had locks and he only cut his hair because of a challenge. But when they met, he was with locks.
He was with locks.
Right. So it's crazy how she ended up talking to another man with locks.
But he's fine too. He's tall. He's fine. He's taller than way taller than DDG. Very fine. I mean, this is her aesthetic. Fine. Okay.
For her, right? I'm happy.
Anyways, the man was taking pictures. They was kissing. She was posing. He was angling, getting the right angles. Like all that. It was giving what it was supposed to give, and I love that. And it low-key makes me think, was this the guy that he claims that she was with and it wasn't Brett Fias? Could this have been the guy that she was out hanging out with? Maybe not. But I just love to see it. I just want to update y'all. My girl has moved on. She's getting her booty rubbed with baby oil. And yeah, she's living her best life. And DDG, we can't forget DDG. He got India Love on his arm. A lot of guys are like, good look, DDG. That's a good look right there. That's a good look right there. But honestly, it hasn't really been confirmed if they're dating. More so like, I think they're just streaming. I think it's the stream. I think they're just playing. I think it's a setup, honestly. India Love, she's connected to so many guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
And DDG is not a bad looking guy at all. It's just, where does he fit that aesthetic? And an aesthetic I'm talking about is what she's normally used to. Ron Robinson, mm-hmm. She dated weak ass Soulja Boy back in 2013. Basically, where I'm going with this: Brandon, Will Burley, Justin Combs, Game.
So India Love,
Rick Ross. Drake,
she is one of those bad
Little Yachty
for a long time. Though.
Rich the Kid, Sheck West, Rowdy Rich.
Oh wow, them a lot of bodies.
Devin Haney. Oh my God! Come on now. Where does DDG fit in all this? What you do? I honestly feel like they're just streaming, Adi.
Listen, this is how I honestly feel, Rue. I think, to me, right, and this is my thing, I think what it is like, hey, if I have this girl under my arm, I can make her jealous, etc., whatever, however you may have it. I know a lot of people is trying to compare looks, right? There's a difference between looks and substance, and I think Halle has both, right? India Love, all she is a baddie. Right, when I say baddie, meaning she has to look, she's a beautiful woman, can't take that away from her. She was one of the original baddies. And when I say this, meaning like social media baddies, she was that girl, right? So she's been in the scene for a long time, but at the same time, Halle, she's well diverse. She's an actress, she's a singer, she's multifaceted in her talents. And I think out of everybody that DDG has been with, she has been the one that's more established than all the girls. But what bothers me is about these niggas that they keep on attacking her because they feel like she doesn't look the par to these baddies. Like, I don't know what it is about niggas and look so much that it's no substance behind the look. So for them to keep on picking apart this girl when I have seen B's a bad. I don't give nobody say.
Halle is a baddie.
She's a baddie because her body
with no surgery. So imagine if she got the surgeries.
Right, but just imagine she's a natural and she's a mother, right? But before she was a mom, I can give you pictures and high ponytails, bitch, on red carpets, looking sickening with her and her sister, looking great, right? Hey. Looking great with her sister. So it's really it takes me to see how people will just attack her for her appearance and her look and say she's not that girl because she doesn't look like India Love. Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, DDG, he's looking like I like DDG though, you know. So what I'm about to say is, it's just I'm on my we on our podcast type shit. It's giving corn a little bit. It's just giving a little corn. It's giving a little lame energy, and this is why, because there was nothing wrong between you and your girl. Nothing. Nothing. Where shit started getting fucked up is when you started moving around and being silly with these niggas and then calling her out on the internet. We talked about this before on the Entertainment Mondays. Calling this girl out on the internet for not letting you see your son. Painting this narrative that she's a bad mommy. To the point where y'all start getting into it. Now motherfuckers posting pictures of teeth being chipped and bruises on arms. It's getting crazy, DDG. It's getting crazy. It looks crazy, bro. Now y'all broken up and... Go ahead.
No, I want to be honest, right? I think that I love her down, but we have to hold her accountable.
Yeah, but I was just talking about in general. Before you cut me off, I'm talking about in general, DDG, the way he looks at this time. So somebody that doesn't know him, that's trying to know who is this guy. You feel me? You start to see the recent events, and that's what I was talking about. The recent events. You know, he's doing his streaming thing. He's having fun. He's a cool dude. So cool. So down to earth. But it's just his timing and the way things go. You're now out of a relationship with this lady. You're fighting for custody. None of this would be going on is what I'm saying had you not brought this shit to the internet about, oh, she won't let me see my kid. And then really like putting out these images like she's with another man. Like you was tearing down this woman. You was tearing down this lady. Now she done moved on. She got her little hot boy. You know what I'm saying? She ain't tied to a bunch of niggas. You done moved on. You tied to a gang of niggas. Okay? And then at times it look like you don't even want to be bothered with the bitch. As fine as she is, it's videos out there of DDG looking like he do not want to be bothered with that sassy ass take care of me energy because he's not used to like India Love. Okay? So it's just giving goof. It's giving goof troop. It's giving typical nigga energy where it's like y'all trying to save face by finding a baddie, and that baddie's not even really what you want because you don't know her. You don't know that lady, and she can get snatched up by any nigga at any minute. Y'all men know that. That's how y'all look at women. These baddies, y'all know they can get snatched up by a nigga with a bigger check and a bigger chain and a bigger car and a bigger house. Stop playing with your life. Shout out to Entertainment Mondays.
Listen, Rue, you went, girl.
No, stop playing.
Look, now he got another.
Listen, I keep on saying the same thing.
What you say, sir?
Playing on Hallie's top.
Somebody was talking.
I think that was
Oh, I said, and now he tight because his baby mom's got a new man rubbing SPF 30 on.
Yeah, love this shit finna go crazy. This shit finna go crazy.